Now, there are a few books that I have read recently and studied up onto a few songs, a few popular songs, and the histories behind them and why we sing them. Our first song this morning is going to be a very popular song that you guys know, and that's going to be How Great Thou Art. Now, this song was written by Swedish preacher Carl Boberg in 1886. Originally a poem, which Dave told me this morning was pronounced O Shore Gud. Now, this poem, the inspiration for it, as you can see up here, I mean, it's really beautiful. He was just visiting an estate, and he witnessed a sudden thunderstorm. Think about that. A sudden thunderstorm just pops out of nowhere, awestruck of lightning. I mean, and immediately following that, a clear sky. I would do the same thing he did. As the lyrics say, humbled in adoration. And then he wrote his poem. After he wrote his poem, he shared it with some friends. Did nothing more for many years. Then years later, he was attending a congregation in northern Sweden when he heard them singing his poem as a church hymn. Now, hearing this song, personally, I love it. About 2 years ago, as a sophomore, I sang this song for my spring solo. As many of you here know, I song lead a lot if I'm here. And I love singing church hymns. This song, it doesn't matter if you go to Church of Christ. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic. It doesn't matter if you're Methodist, Baptist. Nothing of that changes. But the words in this song you can hear and you can feel. I could see people crying in the crowd after singing this song. Now, moments before this, I sang for a funeral of a veteran. It was this song, Onward Christian Soldiers, which is our next, and a few more. From this, I could see people in the crowd feeling the emotions of the song and seeing the change. Now, there's dynamics in music, which if you guys do not know, dynamics increase the sound of music, of piano to forte and mezzo in between. In this song, he wrote many dynamics that can increase the sound of the song and increase the words behind it. After hearing this song, especially being Boberg, from just a random congregation, I mean, I would definitely be touched. As it says, decades later, the song was translated into German, Russian, English, and dozens of other languages today. After this song, about 100 years later, World War I, World War II, this song was used a lot with Germans and Frenchmen. This song brought a lot of people together. I bet you guys know the song Silent Night, Stille Nacht. It was probably about as popular as that song around this time. And they sang that as much as any other congregation would. There was this time in World War I where Germany, England, and America, for Christmas, they just stopped fighting. And they started playing soccer in no man's land. Like, that's ridiculous. No man's land. They started playing soccer, and the song that they sang was Stille Nacht, How Great Thou Art. Different songs that they could correlate with. Like, if I went to Germany, I could not speak German. But would I know how great thou art? Yes. Because music is a universal language. I know that as majoring in music during high school and minoring in music during college. A few verses that can correlate with this. Psalm 65, verse 5. By awesome deeds you answer us in righteousness. Now, I need to get a songbook. But in most of the lyrics in How Great Thou Art, thank you very much. Let's just read a few here. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. I find it astounding how people can look at nature, and you can just look at many things. I know my grandfather, he has made a lot of lessons talking about the biology of life and how it correlates with God and the creation. And just the simplest things, like just your eye twitching. I don't even know who could replicate that biologically. I mean, just thinking about that, I mean, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, no scientist in the world could create Earth or a replication of Earth, no matter how hard they tried. Our next verse, Psalm 66, verse 5. Come and see the works of God, who is awesome in his deeds towards the Son of Men. Now, I mean, as I said, the eyeball and the muscles and the nerves, all the different nerves and muscles that go into the eye, they just work together so significantly that you can see colors and you can see skies and you can see numbers and you can understand them. They relay messages back to your brains. Now, throughout all these verses, they talk about how God is awesome. And that's our one point today with how great thou art. Wonders in the lands of Ham and awesome things by the Red Sea. Holy and awesome is his name. Men shall speak of the power of your awesome acts, and I will tell of your greatness. And I think Boberg, as a Swedish preacher himself, really understands these verses and brings them out throughout his community. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think that God his Son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can bring it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sins. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Thank you for singing with me. Our next song today is going to be Onward, Christian Soldiers. Now, I'm betting you guys know this song. And whenever I think of this song, I always think about, Christian soldiers. Soldiers of Christ, arise and put your armor on. That's one of the first verses of that song. Let me get that here. Song 646, if you want to mark that in your notebooks real quick. Song 646. Now, while you guys are marking that, let's listen to the story of Onward Christian Soldiers. Sebing Baring Gould, 1834 to 1924, was a writer and Anglican priest who happened to work with young boys in Yorkshire, England. For Whit Monday, which is an English holiday, I guess they celebrate it. It's a Catholic English holiday and Anglican. It's a whole bunch of religions who go around, and during this time, they would march to villages, and they would sing, and they would unite with Christ. But he wanted the young schoolboys in one village to walk over to another school to celebrate together. Now, this was something that caused him to lose some sleep, knowing that walking a group of schoolboys for miles was a daunting task. Meditating on this the night before the event, he wanted to have something for the children to sing while marching to the other song. As the young children sang and marched to the hymn, the people along the road heard it. They fell in love with the song. Within a couple decades, it was one of the most popular songs in the English language. Now, Onward Christian Soldiers is another song I sang for that veteran. Reenacting this march in my head every single time that I hear it, every time that I sing it, reminds me of what great things I can do for the Lord and what great things that other people can do for the Lord. Just fighting for Jesus Christ alone and fighting for the religion of many are things that you can do for everyone around you. Just getting out of this room and talking to people. Just getting out of this room and fighting for your beliefs. One of the verses I picked out for this, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4. No soldier in active service entangles himself in the affairs of everyday life, so that he may please the one who enlisted him as a soldier. Therefore, take up the full armor of God so that you will be able to resist in the evil day, and having done everything, to stand firm. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not tremble or be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Christ the royal master leads against the foe. Forward into battle, see his banners go. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Crowns and thrones may perish, kingdoms rise and wane. On the church of Jesus, constant will remain. Gates of hell can never against that church prevail. We have Christ's own promise, and that cannot fail. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Onward then, ye people, join our happy throng. Blend with all your voices in the triumph song. Glory, Lord, and honor unto Christ the King. This through countless ages, men and angels sing. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Have thine own way, Lord. Okay. This hymn was written by a woman named Adelaide Pollard. She was born into a faithful family in 1862 and had a deep desire for mission work. She was trying to raise support in 1902 to make a mission trip to Africa, but the funds were not coming in. As she was listening to an elderly woman pray, something was revealed through her words. She overheard the elderly woman say, "It really doesn't matter what you do with us, Lord, just have your own way with our lives." The elderly woman inspired Pollard, and she contemplated the story of the potter and the clay from Jeremiah chapter 18, verse 3. And upon her return home that evening, wrote all 4 stanzas before retiring for the night. When those moments of life come your way, and you've tried all in your power to no avail, give up and give over to God. He is a potter and we are the clay. Think about that, the potter and the clay. I know my grandpa's talked about that a lot. A lot. Potter and the clay. It's a huge thing in the Bible. And I bet you guys know what a potter is by now. And the clay. It's really just that simple. It's just potter and the clay. Just think about it. I mean, you let God into your life. And if you're in a tough spot, I was in a tough spot. I mean, I'm a teenager, so I haven't been what you guys have been through. But my tough spot, I'm starting a lawn mowing business. And it's getting a little rough because my truck shuts down after I put a lot of money into my lawn mowing business. So there we go. I mean, I got $100 in my account. I got a broke down truck, 2 push mowers, and a riding lawnmower. That doesn't work. And no clients. So, I mean, that night, I'm going to admit, I'm a man, but I cried. I mean, I had to get that off my chest. But I cried, and I prayed to God. And I didn't know what to do. I was stuck, and I was awestruck. How can this all happen to me? How? I'm sure you guys know the story of Job. That's way worse than what happened to me. But, I mean, how? I don't think God's letting the devil tool with my life, but I think the devil is allowing himself to tool with everyone's life. And I think that even though the devil is behind the scenes, and no matter what you do, you always need to think about God and how he can have his own way with you. And now, have thine own way, Lord. That's the title. Just think about the title. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way. Thou art the potter, I am the clay. Well, to continue this story, my truck was broke down. My dad's going to Fort Leavenworth. I don't have that role model that I need in my life because he's gone. What I didn't know is he comes back on weekends, so it's not that bad. But he comes back on weekends, and I'm over here, and I honestly procrastinated. I was playing my computer. Bad idea. I would not recommend it. I'm playing my computer. He comes into my room. He's like, "Son, you fix your truck yet?" "No, Dad, I think it's done. I think I'll just junk it, and I'll buy a new truck." "Well, I don't think that's a good idea." "Okay. Well, why?" "Well, because I don't. Just fix your truck. Buy a new transmission." Well, a new transmission costs $2,000. And I cannot put in a new transmission. I don't know why, but I can't. So this is what I thought of. My dad says, "Well, next weekend I'll be back because I need my lawns mowed." Had a few bickering fights. I feel as soon as I let God have his own way with me, I was able to control the situation, because a week later, I asked my dad, hey, I know you're busy, and I know you need to go to Fort Leavenworth, but I need your help. He said, I'll think about it. Well, I prayed to God that night. Prayed to him again and again, very hard. Well, the next morning, my dad comes up to me, and he says, hey, go get a transmission filter, we're going to fix this. And we fixed it. Took us 4 hours, but we fixed it. And now I can drive my truck within a 30-mile radius. So, most of my clients are within a 30-mile radius, so it doesn't matter. But now I'm set up, and I can stand before you guys in a fancy suit, and I can sing fancy songs with my fancy voice, and I can drink fancy water with my fancy hands. Because I let God have thine own way. Jeremiah chapter 18, verses 1 through 6. And our point for this is we surrender only to God. Like I surrendered only to God. I let my ego go for Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. The word which came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will announce my words to you. Then I went down to the potter's house, and there he was, making something on the wheel. But the vessel that he was making of clay was spoiled in the hand of the potter. So he remade it into another vessel, as it pleased the potter to make. Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, can I not, O house of Israel, deal with you as this potter does? Declares the Lord. Behold, like the clay in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand, O house of Israel. The story of the potter and the clay. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way. Thou art the potter. I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way. Search me and try me, Master, today. Wither and snow, Lord, wash me just now, as in thy presence humbly I bow. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way. Hold o'er my being absolute sway. Fill with thy Spirit, till all shall see Christ only always living in me. God is calling all of us to be soldiers for him. He's an awesome general and does not want any of his troops to wave the white flag of surrender to anyone but him. I have one more story for you today. Will you serve him today? And that's what I'm going to leave you with, guys. Thank you very much.